Thank you. You're far too kind. Yes.
Thank you. You're far too kind. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Guys Podcast. It is a Wednesday, hump day. It's me, your girl Becca. I know this is normally the time where Merv will come in and just be Merv, but Merv is on vacation for today. So I had to call in my trusty sidekicks, Mark and Stacks, to join me tonight so we can talk some stuff.
And they go on vacation. Must be nice. Shit.
He's taking a little break. I think the P Valley review last night wore him out, so he's resting today.
Shit.
He's resting today. We'll start with you, Mark. Welcome to Wednesday. Happy hump day.
Hey, what up? You know what? Yeah, I'm saying I'm gonna be a little serious real quick. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna get into some shit right after, right? So you know what I'm saying? Let me address Sean and Stacks. You know what I'm saying? I had a conversation with these guys, you know what I mean, for last week. My tenor, you know what I mean, was a little bit disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I apologize to y'all fellas for that, man. Y'all my brothers for life. You know what I'm saying? And y'all mean for it now. Everybody knows that when I do some shit, I talk to my older brother Mo, and Mo, the OG, usually sets me right. You know what I'm saying? And he told me, he was like, Mark, the respect gotta be louder than the disrespect. So this is me, you know what I mean, for real, bigging up my brothers, man, and saying, you know what I mean, we all good and we always gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to get that off my chest first, right? Now I gotta kick. Stacks. Oh, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I mean, that's all I wanted to say on that one, Stacks. You know what I'm saying? Anything? Did you want to say anything? Or?
Oh no, I mean, I was gonna say, and we'll talk later, but I just thought that we missed. I wasn't particularly. I didn't feel disrespect, right? I didn't feel. I just felt like we missed out on an opportunity, but that's neither here nor there. I wasn't upset or anything like that. I don't know about Sean, but me personally, I wasn't upset. But much respect. Respect.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
the thing is, Mark, a lot of people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't even acknowledge. They wouldn't even. So. But that's how we do. Well, like you said, we brothers.
Yeah, we brothers, man. So I mean, that's how I gotta be. Now I gotta go to this shit, right? Because what you call it, Channing Crowder, right? He's on this show, the Pivot Podcast, and once again he's throwing disrespect to Russell Wilson. I'm like, okay, dude, we heard you like a couple months ago. You called the bull corny, right? Yeah. But I was like, nothing he did really was corny, but you insist, you know what I mean, on calling him corny. I mean, to me right now, you're a hater. That's all I got for you. I'm just like, listen.
What do you call him a hater? I mean, what do you call him corny for?
I guess for the same exact thing.
We called him a square for being good to Sierra. He called him a square. I'm
going to say like this. He's like in his feelings because I don't know how he got her, right? Well, guess what? He got her, right? Listen.
Oh, God.
I'm like, he got her. He got her, put a ring on it, had babies with her. I'm like, yo, man, okay? I'm trying to tell you, listen, look, I was like, man, everybody gonna like who they like. You know what I mean? You gotta leave that alone. Listen, I work with a bull, right? This dude really, was kind of like an awkward bull, right? You know what I'm saying? But then I met his chick, and his chick was fine, right? You know what I'm saying? But here, I was like, yo, so, I mean, I wasn't being disrespectful, but I was like, yo, how you pull that? He's like, yo, man, she like anime just like I do. I was like, that's all you need. Hey, one thing to connect with her.
Shit, bro. Motherfuckers serious about that. Motherfuckers our age, I know, are serious about that anime shit. I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is, all you need is that one thing to connect with her, right? One thing, you know what I'm saying? If y'all got that one thing, yo, you gonna get her. You know what I'm saying? You gonna rock out, trust me. And fellas, everybody has used that one thing. I mean, look, I met a girl, right? We had nothing in common, nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? But she like beats, like, you know what I mean, for like rap beats, right? I mean, she was really into classical music and all kind of shit like that, right? I knew nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? But you just put a beat on, I would just play a bunch of instrumentals in the car. This is really what I did when I rode with her, right? You know what I mean? Just nod our head to instrumental shit and just do this. And that was our vibe. I'm like, man, I ain't never ate no French food before. I met her. I ain't never ate no shit like that. You know what I mean? But I was like, yo, that one thing, I'm saying, we vibed and he got her. So Russell Wilson probably had that one thing where he vibed with her, got her, and now, I mean, they living their best life. Boy, get over it. Stop being a hater.
I like it.
I mean, we're gonna get into haters in a minute, but
right.
I know who you're talking about, and I've actually watched a few of those shows, and he's a jerk. I think he's a hater on everybody else's relationship because his is a little strange. Like him and his wife go to nudist beaches.
Kevin Love. Hey, Kevin Hart. Hey, Kevin Hart was funny.
Did you
shit
see that? That is when it sealed the deal for me that Channing is the real one who.
Yeah, he's a fucking weirdo. I mean, why you calling Russell Wilson a cornball? I guess when you a weirdo, he's a fucking cold weirdo to me.
Right. Anyway, how are you doing, Stacks? My cousin non-weirdo.
It's been a rough week, as you can see. I typically don't smoke cigarettes, but I am tonight, and I got the red cup shit going. I lost track of days. I thought it was Thursday all day today, so I mean, I'm thinking I'm one day closer to the weekend. I look at the calendar like halfway through the day, and I'm like, "Fuck! How the fuck is it Wednesday?" But
only Wednesday.
It is what it is.
Halfway through the week, cause
now we halfway to the weekend. You gotta say it like that on some positive shit. You can't say it because I mean this. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get through tomorrow. You know what I mean? If you get through tomorrow, you're on easy street. Right. But you just got to get through tomorrow. That's the one day you got to get through.
Hey, because I think that on most jobs, and that's funny you say that because on most jobs, I think Friday is clearly the least productive day because everybody's just thinking about trying to get through the weekend. Like I ain't doing much of shit today. I'm gonna go through the motions, act like I'm working. I'm just trying to get to 5 o'clock. Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit in the bathroom for a few extra minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, where you at? Oh, my stomach hurting. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I know the drill, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'm glad that y'all are here with me tonight. We're going to be talking about. It's so interesting that you started that way, Mark. Which was not planned. I didn't expect you to do that, but it ties into today's topic about conflict. Mm-hmm. We'll be discussing a couple things of how to get through conflict amongst family, friends, co-workers, professional and personal. We're going to get into it. So before we get into that, I wanted to we're going to get this one out the way because I know this one's going to be quite emotional for a few of us. For those that are not aware, a grand jury has declined to indict the woman whose accusations led to the lynching of Emmitt Till, making it highly unlikely that she will ever be prosecuted. This is something that we've been waiting many, many years for, and it is not going to happen. She had came out a few years ago and confessed, and for those that are watching, I'm using big air quotes, confessed to leading to the lynching of this young boy, the brutal lynching of this young boy, the unfortunate and undeserving lynching of this young boy, and nothing happened. So we all rallied for her to get prosecuted, and the grand jury said nah. I see you shaking your head, Mark. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's like they move the goalposts all the time for shit like this, right? It's I mean, this is what they say. The crime that don't never come off the books is murder, right? Somebody get killed, somebody got to get prosecuted for it, right? Obviously, the lady who started this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? She's still alive, right? But they're not going to prosecute her and I'm just like, all right, now these are different crimes, right?
She's
when
in
you look
her
at
80s.
She's in her
80s.
She's in her 80s. And guess what?
Bill
Cosby in his 80s. You know what I mean?
Right, and they put him in jail.
They did a whole trial and sent him to jail. And my thing is, rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay, but I'm just like, it shouldn't be like, oh yeah, well they old. I like, nah, like, look, this is the one crime that don't come off. A murder, it ain't no statute of limitations on no murder. If you were a
And this
part of it,
happened 70 years ago.
but the thing is, you were a part of it. If you were a part of it, hey, you got to go to trial. Now, listen, if they let you off with some compassion or whatever, then the trial is the trial. But what I'm saying is, you at least got to get indicted and face, face a jury or whatever, and then they decide. Now, most likely, if she really did get convicted, they probably put her in one of them little mental hospitals or whatever, and she be eating Jello for the rest of her life, and that's probably it. She wouldn't really do no real time, but still, I mean, just for the Till family, the descendants of the Till family, I'm just like, man, they could at least took it to trial and then just let them decide what's gonna happen from there. At least that.
Cousin, you shaking your
And
head in disgrace. What do you
it's
feel?
it's par for the course. And the funny thing is that this happened I want to say 60 something years ago, and
Yeah, 70
I
years
don't think
ago.
much has changed as far as how crime is viewed. As far as crime is viewed different based on the hue of your skin or whatever. I mean, and we still see a whole lot of examples of that today, especially with what's going on with the former president. I don't want to get off in that tangent because that fucking fuckstick is playing fucking victim and all type of shit. But it sounds about white. That's all I can say about that, and the fact that I didn't have an expectation for Emmitt Till to get any justice. Now, I will say that I think that his mother opting to have him have a open casket, that I think that changed a lot of things. We still got a long ways to go, but I'm not shocked at all. But I mean, she's not gonna face a jury of her peers on earth. But when she closed her eyes for that final time,
Mm,
when
mm,
she get the pearly gates or whatever, if you are a believer, I
mm,
mean the elevator will go down, Mark. I mean, it's gonna
mm.
Mm-hmm.
be
Yeah.
it's gonna go down. I mean, it's like say, hey, it's say you get to the pearly gates and see a dude named Saint Peter, he could be like, nah, I don't even need to go over your shit. Getting that, you going down, literally
Yeah.
to the most
Absolutely.
southern
Absolutely.
part of hell. So I hope she enjoys the rest of her decrepit old ass insignificant life because she gonna be burning for eternity.
Absolutely.
Because that's some old bullshit, and a lot of people fail to man. Imagine living back in those days, whereas
Hmm.
like if you really look at it, like black people's lives were on the line every day because a white person could kill you, lynch you, no consequences
Mm,
whatsoever, just
mm,
by saying that you looked at somebody or
mm,
you cursed them out or so. You could be in the wrong place at the wrong time with white people and ended up losing your life.
mm.
So yeah, I mean I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that she didn't get charged, but I think she'll get ultimate justice once she finally raised her eyes, and that's all I got to say about that shit.
Listen, go straight to hell. Do not pass go.
Right.
Do not collect $200. Go straight to hell. Like it's been 70 years. I couldn't imagine what this family is going through, having to still deal with this for 70 years and still get no justice. Not that we had any faith in the justice system anyway, that's a whole nother pie. But 70 years later, it is still a big middle finger to this family. And it is tragic. And it makes me think like, damn, if they won't do this after 70 years later, when this lady straight said, it's my fault, regardless of age, then whenever will we be able to get some type of justice? It almost feels like never. Like
Me
not in
too.
my lifetime, maybe my daughter's lifetime, who just turned 12. Maybe she might see it at some point in her lifetime. But it feels like if I was part of this family, I would be so outraged and so hurt. The PTSD that I would have would be amazing. It would just be crazy. It would be no way that I could function and still understand. what's happening, had any faith in justice or politics or anything. Not that we thought that they was going to throw this lady in jail, because this white lady is obviously not going to go to jail. She will perish, having not in this lifetime above ground paid for her sin. But for those that believe this to be true, if you don't, then this doesn't apply to you. But if you do believe that there's a place that you go after you die, up or down, then we will hope that she goes down to the bottom of the earth, the bottomless.
Not to mention, Mark, and I don't know if you know this, don't you know that they got people that randomly goes out there and desecrate the little memorial that they made to Emmitt Till? Like they literally had to put I think they had to put some type of protective case over it, because white people was literally going out there and shooting at the little commemorative plate or whatever. People evil, bro. Racism is very strong, but it still is. It has stood the test of time, bro. Like, that shit is strong.
Yeah.
It's raging. It's like the eternal flame at the Martin Luther King site.
But I mean, here's my thing. I look at it like, I'd rather people would just be open with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just like,
right.
I like, man, because at least I know who you are. Like, I hate when people try to, but it's like this, but it's, you know what I mean? Like, all right, you don't
I have black friends. I have a lot of black friends.
I like, listen, if you have the hood in your closet, it's okay, man. Just come out with it. You know what I mean? No judgment here. I'm just like, I know who you are. That's it.
Right, and it tells at least you're telling me how to deal with you, right? So yes, we do want them to expose themselves so we know how to deal with them. But when they expose themselves, we leave ourselves open to their treatment as well.
There was a guy, I forget his name. His name isn't worth mentioning, but he was getting interviewed by Axos, one of them. No, what's one of them? It's one of those ones that do those they always do those human interest piece. It's not Vibe. Damn, I forget what it is.
But this guy, It's not TED Talks.
No.
Okay.
But they were doing this interview with this guy. He was a stone cold racist. Now, the reason I respect him, I don't respect him, but I respect the fact that he was pretty much giving you his thoughts. He was saying that he thinks that the white race is superior. Like, he was openly, there was no qualms about it. He was openly and utterly racist. And, I respect the fact that he's open like that. I wish there was more of them like that, but a lot of them are cowards, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not just going to roll up on black folks in 2022 and say, yo, I'm openly racist. I hate niggers and stuff like that. That's just not going to be a thing. It's not going to end. It's not going to end well for you. But that's why you gotta be on guard, because a lot of them, they act like they're your friends these days.
Yeah. See, that's the part I don't like. I don't like that.
right.
Yeah, don't be fake with me. Well, rest in peace to Emmitt Till. We have not forgotten about you, even after 70 years. We are still fighting for your justice. You are still in our memories. To the Till family, we are so sorry. That's really all we could say. I know that's not enough. I know you probably want her to burn in hell, and we want her to burn in hell along with you. So, moving on. Unfortunately, we do have another story to come out. I'm sure this has been in the news as well. This crash in Los Angeles. I want to read this because this is very alarming. So the nurse accused of killing 5 people with her Mercedes plowed into traffic at a busy Windsor Hills intersection in Los Angeles, which involved 13 previous crashes. So there's a lot of crashes in this particular intersection. Authorities revealed new details about Thursday's crash. The driver, Nicole Linton, which is 37, who actually is from Texas, was staying in Los Angeles as a traveling nurse. And she was renting a room in one of the hotels. They said that after reviewing multiple previous crashes linked to her, meaning that she's known to have these car crashes, including one in 2020 that involved bodily injury in which 2 cars were totaled. They provided a few more details. So a lot of the times, a lot of the talks were that she was drunk, right? Some of the stories said that she was arguing with her boyfriend and she was having some mental health issues at the moment, and she tried to commit suicide. And this was the way that she chose, this violent way of speeding down a regular street in an intersection, hitting people and killing them. The intent was for her to die, but what will always happen, and especially in cases like this, the driver never dies.
Yeah,
It's usually everybody.
Facts.
The driver never dies. And she new information has come out that she actually was not drunk. She was not drunk at the time. She was just not in the correct mental state.
Yeah, mental state.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I got a problem with that.
There's documented profound evidence of mental issues. They didn't elaborate on any type of those issues, but surveillance video did show that when her car crashed into this intersection, it did burst into flames. Young children, a pregnant woman, there's a few people that have died, and she was going 90 miles an hour. I'll start with you, Stacks.
Man, my issue is much like Mark said, that my issue is that if you're having any type of issues or whatever, because from what I know about the story is that it was related to a relationship that had gone awry. I don't know if her boyfriend pissed her off. She found out he was cheating or whatever. I don't know exactly, but I heard it stemmed from a relationship that she was having. She was upset. I didn't know that she was attempting to commit suicide, but if that was the case, man, like, don't put others in danger. I mean, right. And if it's, I'm sorry. I simply understand she was having a mental episode. That's part of what I was hearing.
Yeah.
But don't put others in danger. Now you're at a point. Whereas, I mean, I don't think she was attempting to kill herself. And the funny thing is that not only do people usually, they usually survive and stuff like this, they usually come out unscathed. I think she had a scratch or something like that, something like that. But I can't really. I empathize with her in this aspect. I wish she had made a better decision. With as far as her and her boyfriend, whatever conflict they were having, but it cost people that had nothing to do with the situation in their lives, and that shit is whack. That's what I got on that one, man.
I'm gonna say like this, right? You were in LA, like I lived in LA, for a few years, right? I'm like, yo, you're near a beach. You're not far from a beach, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not telling you what to do or nothing, but I'm like, sweetheart, you could have just jumped off the pier, you know what I'm saying? And then just dived into the water and then just laid there. You know what I'm saying? You would have went peacefully. You let the ocean sweep you up. You would have went peacefully. You wouldn't even have to hurt anybody else to do that. Now, here's my problem, right, with this whole thing. They said she had mental issues before this crash happened. It was documented that she's already been in another crash before, same way.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
like, that.
Yes.
That bullshit right there now.
So, I mean, my thing is, so wait a minute, hold up. Just like anything else, right? I'm like, now she was a traveling nurse. That's what they said, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she was. That was
now,
her profession.
I'm sorry, I'm saying hospital or whatever agency, you don't do no background check. As many jobs as I've been on that do a damn background check, you know what I'm saying? And you're in nursing, the medical field. You should want to do a background check for them folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you on drugs?
Right.
Do you commit crimes? Do you stab people with needles? You know what I mean? I'm going to need to know that.
Do you like to play GTA in your spare time?
But I'm just like, yo, like, how? I mean, to me, I'm just like, it's like, I don't mean to laugh, but y'all remember that episode, you know what I'm saying, on Power, right? when Rashad Tate was like, asked Ghost, like, yo, man, how'd you pass a background check with all the bullshit you doing? Like, that's exactly what I'm asking. You know what I mean? Like, how did she pass a background check to be a nurse? Like, come on. I'm like, you know how many times
Tasha was shocked goes past background too.
Yo, I'm just saying, like, yo, that's the wildest thing to me, because I'm just like, yo, like, how are y'all so relaxed on the background? It's one thing if she ain't never commit no crimes or never did anything. She has a history. Like, yo, that's the wildest thing to me, you know, and y'all let her be a nurse. I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, I'm like, man, shoot, my homie Yamin for it just came home. I'm just like, man, Yamin, shoot, he had to ask Lowe's to give him a chance just to work at Lowe's. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. Is she could be a nurse? No, we got the game all messed up. We got the game all messed up. You know what I mean? The way they doing these things, jeez, they letting anybody, you know what I mean, be anything. You never know who caring for you if you get sick. That shit crazy.
Yeah, for me, I think that I hate to just say that it's unfortunate, but it is, right? And I think a lot of times when we look at the end of a thing, we try to figure out what led to that moment. And it could have been the relationship being really bad and her not being able to deal with that, which is considered a conflict that we'll talk about later. If her maybe her documented mental health issues are recent and not when she first started getting into nursing, right? Which means that maybe there needs to be a continual check, especially during COVID. A lot of the nurses that I know who were in the field said that, you know, they got into that field because they wanted to help. They wanted to help. That was in their nature to want to do that. But COVID took a real emotional strain on them. And a lot of them did not want to continue. Yeah, they left the field because COVID just became a lot. It's different if you got to give an IV or wipe some poop off somebody. But when you're dealing with people who are dying, hundreds
every day,
dying a day, that is a lot on the brain and on the spirit. And if you don't take control of that and stay in that field, then you're exposed and constantly reminded of those things that happen. And then you get into a situation where when you have these type of feelings, your first thought is to not fix them, but to commit suicide. And that is a whole nother issue as well. And then, you know, not just jumping off of a bridge or overdosing on pills. You want to do something so dangerous that you leave other people in harm. And this is exactly what happened. And now she's dealing with 6 counts. She could go to jail for over 90 years.
Yeah, she'll never see the light of day. She ain't getting out.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is
her.
Let me
go ahead.
Let me ask y'all this though: Did she kill any white folks during the course of this?
I don't know.
Some of them were, but these were all
she done.
Casualties. They were not the intended targets. She intended to drive her car into something or somewhere or so fast that she died. Never take into account that everyone else died and she stayed alive. So that's another thing to consider. That imagine trying to commit suicide and you don't do it right.
Man,
you got to deal with that. So not only is she alive and didn't really want to, but she's going to be alive in jail.
Go ahead, Stacks.
I don't like joking about suicide, but shit, she fucked up. Damn, trying to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Shit.
Go
ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Oh no. But here's the thing, though, right? Listen, you know what I'm saying, ladies, 2022, and I'm saying this and all, trying to be all seriousness with it. Listen, 2022, most dudes ain't shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, that most dudes ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, my boyfriend, he cheated. Yo, he been cheating ever since he met you. Get over it. You know what I'm saying? You know, most dudes ain't shit. You meet him, he ain't. It's gonna be some ain't shit about him when you meet him. It's gonna be something about him that ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mark said, "Don't ignore the red flags, ladies."
Look, I'm just, oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, see, and this is the problem. You know, like with the shoe. That's what we need to do a show on. How to recognize a city boy. You know what I'm saying? Because he probably was one, and you ignored that. Oh, this my boo. Like, he's just living it up in Texas.
Instead of how to catch a predator, how to identify a city boy.
Yeah. He just living it up in Texas, doing whatever. She was distraught, going through this. Yeah, I mean, let me see if I can get him on the phone. He done already blocked you. Oh, shit. She facing 90 years. I can't get no more money from her. Oh, man. Well, shoot, I might well block that number. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, crazy.
This is why it's really important. And I hate to take to detour away from the actual tragedy that happened, but this is the reason why you have to, let's just say the cause of this really was because she was arguing with her boyfriend and it just got to be too much for her. This is why it's very important that you take time to get to know people that you want to be in romantic relationships with. Right. Here's my old lady moment. I know that it's cool to just be fluid and do whatever you want. It's your body. You can be sexually fluid. You can do whatever you want. Have one night stands. They're fun and exciting and thrilling. You know, you just met him at the Q-Dog conclave here in Charlotte, and he was sticking his tongue out and doing all kinds of extra shit that turned you on. So you had a little one night stand with him, and now you're in a relationship and all of that. It is cool to do all of that. But you have got to be careful who you put yourself in the space of. You have to be very careful who you lay with, who you have romantic relationships with, because those things stick to you. And if it's toxic, I hate to use that word, but that's the best thing I can describe it with. You will end up in a situation where your mental health is in jeopardy. Right. And it may be a Blueface Krishan situation where you pulling your tooth out and sucking toes, or it may be that you can't handle it so much that you drive through an intersection and kill 6 people, one of them being an 11-month-old.
Ladies, listen, ladies,
11-month-old.
Look,
and
ladies,
then your car catches on fire and you don't die. Die. I
also heard that it was close to a gas station, so it could have been much worse. Like I heard like she was close to hitting a gas station. Like that would have been catastrophic out this motherfucker.
Right. Trey said, them women that think the red flags are leading her to the circus. Nope, you are the only clown going. Listen. Yeah. Sometimes it be like that. Sometimes, you know, you want to go watch the clown, but you don't want to be a clown. Speaking of clowns, here's my segue. Irv Gotti.
Oh my God.
The fact that we're still talking about him, I'm like, man, this boy's been trending ever since. Jeez.
Hey, yo, get your boy, Mark, in your voice. Get your boy.
Irv Gotti went on Drink Champs. So update for everybody. Irv Gotti went on Drink Champs and said absolutely everything horrible you can say about somebody about Ashanti. He just went and got drunk and became a chatty patty. He discussed about not only when he was in love with her while his wife was at home, but that the song that she had called Happy was a result of their love making. And he went into the shower and thought about this song, and it became one of her biggest songs. And that not only that she ran like a cockroach when Murder Inc. was in court. She ran like a cockroach. So
I'm kind of glad.
You know, it was all kind of B words flying out. He was calling her all kind of names. Nori was like, holy moly guacamole. He didn't stop her. He didn't stop him at all from calling her the B word. Ja Rule was just sitting there like, I don't know how to feel about
this. Ja Rule's neutral. He's neutral in the whole situation. He seems to be neutral.
He kind of has to be, because he's cool with the both of them. So it is tough when you're the mutual friend of two people that are not agreeing, that you don't want to give each one what the other person said, because they're both venting to you. Another issue of conflict that we'll get to later. Stacks, it is burning you to say this. What do you think about Irv Gotti, Fat Joe, and Ja Rule? Because now that he has come out, Fat Joe called Irv a clown. Like, yo, you a bozo for speaking like this about Ashanti.
Check this out.
And now Irv Gotti says that him and Fat Joe are not friends. And after you give your comment, I'm going to play some audio about that.
From a male perspective, and Mark will probably agree with this, there's always that one chick that you planted on landing and she got away. For whatever you weren't able to close the deal. You know what I'm saying?
There's always one that gets away.
I've been there. I'm pretty sure Mark has been there before. I've never in my mind, when I got with someone else, looked back and was hating on the one that got away. Or that part of me, as far as me being a man, I can't understand that part, and I cannot understand how he so freely went out there and I think he kind of said, yeah, I was kind of mad when Ashanti, and he said I had to find out by watching TV. I think they was at an event together or whatever.
A game, yes.
Who has to? Why should you be notified first and foremost? But I've never been in love with her.
He was hurt. He was in love with her.
I understand all that. I understand all that, but you can't expose yourself like that, because Mark will tell you, how dudes are, man. We're gonna call you a clown. We're gonna call you, like, you can't just. I cannot believe that he could have kept that shit to himself. And I think that the residuals, as far as him still hating on Ashanti, and I understand the business side as far as the songs, because I mean that's his shit. But at the same time, I think a lot of it's just petty bullshit. And that tells me a lot about Irv Gotti's character. That's from where I'm sitting anyway.
Yeah. Right. And that's what Fat Joe was coming from. Fat Joe was like, bruh, first of all, that's Ashanti. Like, have some respect. Second of all, that's Ashanti, the Princess of Murder, Inc. Like, have some respect. Thirdly, bruh, you were married at the time. How you gonna get back at the clown that you was smashing? Listen, it's all kinds of wrong, because one, it shows how much of a bozo Irv is. But he definitely is a chatty patty, and he definitely pillow talks. Second of all, it puts Ashanti in a really bad situation, because it makes her look like she's a homewrecker, or that she was willing to sleep with a married man just to get her career going. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people think when women are managed by men, and that they do really well, is that they got to be sleeping with their producer. They got to be sleeping with their manager to get by. And Ashanti was smoking hot at the time. So it's not hard. She's beautiful. But it's not hard to put the two together. Like, oh yeah, that's why Ashanti was doing so well, because she was sleeping with Irv, and Irv was getting her all of these deals. Mark, before you give your take on it,
Mark was highly annoyed at this moment.
I'm gonna play some audio of this nonsense.
Mark look annoyed as fuck.
Was your friend? I'm not talking about you. Let me talk. So in life, I've had countless friends come and go, but you know what remains consistent, and why I get through all of this? What? My family. Right? And in life, everyone goes through friends, people who you thought was your friend. I'm not talking about you. Let me talk.
So according to him, he's not talking about Joe being friends and going through life and you thinking somebody's your friend. Irv, Sir Capilot, yes you are. Yes, you are talking about Fat Joe. Fat Joe called you a clown and told you stop talking about Ashanti, and then all of a sudden you want to go on a podcast and say friends usually, you don't know who your friends are until such and such. Listen, Mark, you've been shaking your head. I know that you're disgusted.
I'm gonna say like this, right? If you do some dumb shit, your friend should call you a clown. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't feel no type of way about it neither, especially if that's the behavior you're exhibiting, right? So it's a lot of layers with this, right? Here's the thing. It's a bad look for him just to mention the thing with Ashanti, right? Now, I'm quite sure before the drinks started going in, right, he was going to talk about Ashanti anyway, but then he just rambled on as the drinks and the weed and all of that. But before the Drink Champs interview, nobody was talking about Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti has a documentary on Murder Inc. on BET that nobody was talking about until, he got on his Drink Champs thing. And, now people are starting to, like, I didn't watch it, but I know people are starting to watch it. because they want to see if he's going to say anything about Ashanti in this documentary, right?
He is, because he kept talking about it during the Drink Champs. The rest of the story is going to be in the documentary. Watch the documentary.
But it's like, that's like such a nut ass way to sell your documentary. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
At the expense of Ashanti.
I mean, my thing is that, like, whoever you deal with, right? I'm like, that's really between you and her. I mean, if other boys find out, then they find out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might give like a head nod or a cosign head nod or something like that, and that might be it. You know what I mean? For real, whatever. Like, yo, Mark, you know what I mean? You was with that, and then you just give like a little head nod, like you don't want to say nothing, but you like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. That's it. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not going into detail about how she was and I was with her then and all of that, because that make me look corny. You know what I'm saying? And also, it puts you in a mix where, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, other females, like, even if other females, like, like, yo, I might kind of wanted to get at them, they gonna back up. Like, that boy talk too much. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give him none. So I never wanted to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? But this is who Irv is, though. You know what I'm saying? He talked too damn much. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. And you don't talk on the woman like that. You're supposed to handle your business like a G and keep that shit moving. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody even know what you doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nobody never know my business. You know what I mean?
Most dudes, you're right, Mark. Most dudes that I know that have had the girl everybody wants, it's a little part of them that stays silent, but they puff up their chest a little bit. Like, Irv could have easily taken it, because Ashanti's beautiful, right? There's no denying that she's been beautiful. She's beautiful now that she done got older and her body's filled out. She's a gorgeous woman. It could have easily been Irv to be like, yeah, all of y'all over there, gushing at Ashanti. I had that, but kind of keep that to yourself.
But the thing is,
your little secret. But to go out there and just talk, and it makes Ashanti look so crazy.
But here's the thing: his petty kind of been running against Ashanti for a little while. You remember, like this few years ago, I want to be able to sing my songs at concerts or whatever and everything like that. But he got the masters and they couldn't work nothing out. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, see
why he's salty that she moved on.
Now, here's the thing. Now, here's the thing. Now, the article didn't say this, but seeing how Irv is, right? Yo, I wanted to get my master through these songs. Well, why don't you like give me some and then we could work it out? No, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, Irv, that was like 15 years ago. Like, nah, dude, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm already dealing with somebody else, blah, 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 right? Now, here's the silver lining to all of this, right? You know what I'm saying? Nelly didn't spin the block. Right? He like, you know what? If Ben Affleck can do it, maybe I can too. You know what I'm saying?
How he was looking at that verses, man.
Would
you not spin the block? Would you not?
Nelly didn't took the spin. Nelly probably just like, look, he like, listen, Shanti, right? Look, I know you can't, this boy ain't really trying to get your masters, but I got some bread though, you know what I mean? I could buy them Jones for you. Don't worry about it. I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Round of applause to Nelly.
I like, man, Nelly gonna spin the block on it.
And Mark, it doesn't help that she's aging in reverse, because every time I see her, she's looking better than she looked the last time I seen her.
And Irv looked worse.
Irv Gotti.
And Irv looked worse.
Check this out. Irv Gotti, he's done his thing in the music industry, but I always thought this nigga wanted to be Puff so bad. You ain't Puff. You've been successful, but this is just typical clown-like behavior. And I don't know if I was his wife, I'd leave his ass over this shit, right?
I think he already left. She already left, right?
Yeah, they divorced, so he's not married anymore.
But 50 Cent told us back in 2003, he's like, what was the song, Back Down? He was like, this guy would trade his whole life to be Suge. Back in 2003, he's talking about Suge Knight. He would trade his life to be Suge. You know what I mean? This is back in 2003.
And he's not. I've never seen Irv Gotti. I've never seen him in that light. maybe he sees himself in that light.
Man,
but I've never seen him.
I'll
Like
say
that.
like this: everybody knows a person, right? Knew a person, knows a person in their family, right? Who always talks and wants to be bigger than what they are. They always do it, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna say like this, like, man, Mark, I don't know if I had that person. Go to a family Thanksgiving. Trust me, that person's in your family because everybody got one, and they talk super heavy, right? I'm like, dude, you talking real gangster for somebody that works second shift at the post office. I'm just saying. You talking real gangster for that.
Right.
You know? Okay. I was just like, man, so you thugging on the mail? That's what you do? Yeah, man. I be throwing that mail ball. I dare somebody to say something. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, but that's who he reminds me of, and everybody knows a person like that.
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
I mean, they talk super heavy, and it's just like, dude, that's not really you. Like, I actually know you, right? Like, I actually really know you. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, just like Joe said, ball hold bozo for that. Bozo.
Right.
It's nothing else you can say. Bozo. No. That's it.
Well, we're gonna shout out to Stacks and his red cup. He's putting up. What's that?
This is the Rika, to answer your question. This is the passion.
Yeah.
The passion Ciroc. I usually drink.
Stacks is over here on his red cup. For those that's listening,
I needed this.
The comments want to know what he's sipping on out his red cup.
You need that sometimes, man. You need that in your life sometimes. I feel you.
Irv Gotti's a fucking weirdo. I mean, that's
my said, so is that why he started dealing with the team?
Man, you know what? I would say like this. I think so, because I'm just like, everybody knows Supreme McGriff, was real as they come in these streets. And he was like a gangster and a gentleman for real life, right? And it's just like, that's a person that Irv always wanted to be. He always wanted to be a guy that had that type of charisma, that type of power, that type of influence. But you're not that guy. You know what I mean? So stay in your lane and be the guy you're supposed to be.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I never tried to be like, for the guys that my cousins were. I mean, they were like real guys. Like me, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm just related to them. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I'm just related to him. So I don't talk heavy like that. You know what I'm saying? But Irv is the type of bull who, when he's around guys like that, he's the loudest talking one in the room. Yo, y'all mean who you looking at? Because he got these guys with him, right? I'm like, did we not see American Gangster? The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room.
Absolutely.
That's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just stay in your lane? People can't stay in their lane. They want to be bigger than what they are. I'm just like, that, dude, you became a millionaire. You know what I mean? You were, you had one of the hottest labels in the game. You did TV shows and documentaries and movies after that. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why can't you be happy with that? Why do you have to go this route? You know what I mean? And make yourself look more like a sucker. Like, even if people thought you were a sucker, they really think you a sucker now. The whole thing backfired on him to me. He looks bad.
Yeah, he does. Well, we're going to get into our main topic, and hopefully this is something that Irv should have done, which is to handle conflict. His conflict he had with Ashanti, he should have handled it a lot better. We're going to go into something that is very fitting for today's theme with these precursor topics and segments. How do you handle conflict? Now, for those of us who are, have experienced life, we've often been in situations where we have conflict, where there's people that we just don't get along with, that we may continually have to. We don't have any control of that. Normally that's school when we're kids, they call it bullying or whatever. As we get older, there's a coworker that we just can't stand, especially us ladies, always some chick that's, doing the most.
One comment away from you whooping her ass. That's every chick in America.
Right. So Stacks, I'll start with you. First of all, what do you consider a conflict? How do you when you foresee a conflict, what do you do? How do you handle that?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. When there's a conflict, I'm very emotional, and sometimes I know that about myself, and sometimes I will react off of emotion. So, what I try to do when I'm dealing with a conflict where I know it's going to be some emotion involved, I'll try to sit back and assess the situation, because I don't
Mhm.
want to have a conversation with that individual because uh, my emotion being put into it is not going to help the problem, because I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be it's going to be like a disrespectful tone. I might not be disrespectful, but I'm going to be loud. I mean, y'all know I am when I get loud and sometimes.
Passionate.
But yeah, and that's the
Oh,
thing.
just before you continue, let me just give what the actual definition of conflict is. I know this is kind of, sounds elementary, but I want to do that so that people can understand what we mean. A conflict is usually a serious disagreement or argument. It's a struggle or a clash of interest, opinion, or even principles, and sometimes could be the basis of personal, racial, class, caste, political, international. It's all different types of conflicts. So let me just start there as to what we're discussing, because I want to get into the difference between a disagreement and a conflict.
So
Um,
so
Go ahead.
my passion, being that I'm passionate, if I feel passionate about something, I'm going to be loud. I might not be mad at the individual per
Mhm.
se, but how I express myself when I'm passionate may come off as loud. And people don't like to be talked to crazy. And if you're talking to somebody like that loud, the first thing they're going to say is like, "Who you talking to?" And then everything that you got, you're not going to get nothing solved once that happens, because the problem's
Mhm.
out of the window. Now we're looking at disrespect and things of that nature. But I mean, to be perfectly honest, what I do, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, because I'm one of those people that I don't like hurt people's feelings. I can do that. I'm very, very good at it, but I don't like to hurt people's feelings. So, you know, in most cases, I would probably, and this isn't an effective way to deal with it, I kind of like just let it sit for a while until I'm ready to deal with it the way I want to deal with it.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I think for the most part, and if I see that there's going to be no giving, and there's going to be no giving on both sides. I'm not going to give. They're not going to give. I just kind of leave it alone. I mean, the conflict isn't solved, and I know that's not a proper way of dealing with it. But I mean, I just let it go, and I place that person where I need to place them based on that conflict. And that may sound fucked up, but I'm just being totally honest.
Mark, how do you feel about handling conflict?
I'm not good with it. Like I handle conflict poorly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always gonna be on go. You know what I'm saying? And I have it in my head, where if I think somebody wronged me, I'll be like, you know what? That's an act of war. Like I have it in my head, like I think they committed an act of war against me. You know what I mean? And I gotta go at them, right? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you don't understand, how many times that I pray to God that I have my father and I have my brother now. You know what I'm saying? Because you ever see them eat a Snickers commercial? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And the person that's me. Like so seriously, like if I'm about to go off, right? I'm about to argue with you or whatever, right? The first thing somebody should ask me, hey, did you talk to your brother? You know what I'm saying? Can you talk to him first? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody really should ask me that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll probably come back with a better tone. But I'm just like, I just don't handle it well because it's a lot of things that were toxic in my life. You know what I'm saying? Just growing up. So what you see is kind of what you repeat. You
So I'm
know,
glad you mentioned that, because do you feel that you were ever taught, whether it be from school or whether it be from your family or parents or whomever, aunt, uncle, do you feel that you were ever taught to how to deal with conflict as a child, like when things came up where you taught, okay, this is what you do, or this is how you handle it, or do you think life kind of
Nah,
handled that for you?
I'm gonna say like this, right? I have my mom's personality. My mom is on go. My mom, I mean, in her 70s now, is still on go. I
She
mean, she
ready.
still swings on people. She still do stuff like that.
Damn.
You know what I'm
Damn,
saying?
right?
So, no, she shocked me the other day. You know what I'm saying? For
That's
trying to
hey.
help her. You know what I mean? And then boom,
We
she
do
caught
not
her right
condone
across.
abuse here at the Guys
Yeah,
Podcast Network.
like
Hey, yo, Becca, but that's my grandmother, your aunt. That's my grand. That's Dorothy Keith. She
That
swings
is
on. Hey,
yeah,
Mark, I don't want
if
to interrupt you,
Dorothy
but my
Keith was
grandmother,
still alive, she'd be swinging on
up
people with
until her
her
death, she swung
trumpet.
on. She swung on family members and people in the street. Like if you were like one of those guys, like she was well respected in the streets. Like drug dealers that went to jail,
yeah,
like weren't even related to us. She was like, "Hey," she'll call them on a porch. I heard you just got locked up, and she'll steal off on them. I'm like,
yeah.
what are you doing? Like,
And
what do you can't just be like snuffing out random people,
Stacks.
but they wouldn't do anything.
And ladies like this, right? I swear, I mean, I don't know where they did the boxing training, right? But they did some type of training. We just don't know where it happened because they gotta get in close. Like if you ever see like a great puncher, they get in close and throw a real short punch, right? But
But
it
it
puts you
hurt.
on your ass.
Yes.
That's the type of punches they throw. That's the type of punches my mom throw. You know what I'm
That's like
saying?
the strength of a baby versus
You
the
know,
strength of an older person. Like for some reason, it's a different type of strength.
yeah,
Like for those listening, me and Stacks are cousins, like real cousins, and we were raised by our ancestor Dorothy Keith. Okay, Dorothy Keith was that lady on the block that you saw on the porch that everybody knew, everybody loved, but everybody was scared of. And it's
Right.
one thing that she did was she raised everybody on that block. She even raised some of the adults on that block because she
yeah,
was one of those people that everybody just did what she said because you already knew not only was you going to get beat by her, but she was making sure she called somebody in your family to beat you again. And she was the one that everybody was afraid of. So
Mark,
yeah.
Mark.
She's
I ain't
My
surprised.
Dorothy Keith was
grandmother.
definitely conflict. Okay.
How crazy you gotta be to be an old woman that's called like you see a dope boy, dude's heavy in the streets. Hey, I need you to come in for a second, young man. I heard you was in jail, and just punch him in the face.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the left Mark, the level of respect is that they don't do nothing. They just go on about their way. They literally apologize to her, man. And sometimes I'm like, I wonder if this is gonna blow back on me. But the level of respect was there so much that they knew how she was
Yeah.
that they never it was
Nah,
never an issue.
nah. You know what I mean? For it,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wouldn't be like, man. But I'm gonna say, like I said, like I think I didn't really start talking to my dad about real issues until I got a little older.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And then he passed, and then it was my brother. So it's
Yeah.
just like, like I didn't really talk to anybody about relationships and stuff like that. So, and y'all know I was in a bunch of toxic situations, but I thought it was normal. You know what I'm saying?
Mark,
You
Mark,
know,
my bad. See Rebecca, she got Rika too, man. God damn it.
Man,
I didn't even
Rika,
know
on
that.
the behalf of all of Emmanuel Street, we
We
apologize.
sorry.
We sorry.
We mean we sorry. I'm apologizing for my grandmother. Becca's apologizing for her grand aunt. We sorry, man.
Sorry.
We're sorry that she snuffed you out. We're sorry.
But whatever she did, you learned your
You did,
lesson.
yeah.
I'm sure.
it got you in line. Like that stuff
Whatever
like
she
that.
said you did that shit.
Yeah,
Guilty.
stuff like that gets you in line. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm wondering,
know.
as we age, we conflict resolution is something that we might not have been taught as children, right?
No.
But as we get older, life kind of teaches us, voluntarily or involuntarily, we kind of do learn those lessons, just trying to navigate in the world. Do you think that men and women handle conflict differently? Like, how do you think that? And I'll let y'all, the fellas, of course, give your take, and then I'll give mine. How do you think men handle conflict?
I'm gonna go first, Mark. I think that we do it better simply because I think that dudes we tend to notice things, and then we'll notice that stuff ain't right, and somebody's going to speak up, and we're going to have a conversation. That might be a hard conversation, but at the end of the day, we're going to get our words out, and it's going to be peace at the end of the day. Now, this is just my perspective as far as women, man. Women can have conflict, have ongoing conflict, still hang with each other, but they still got that conflict hanging over. So when they ain't together, they talking shit about each other and all kind of shit like that. But that's just my opinion. I think that dudes easily kind of piece shit up, unless it's some deeply entrenched street type shit conflict. But dudes, I think dudes are we're pretty quick to piece shit up, even if we have like a disagreement. Like, I mean, like this is what the shit what Mark said as far as the disagreement that me, him, and Sean had. I think dudes. This is just my opinion. I think that dudes pretty quick to piece shit up, quicker than females. That's just my opinion.
I'm gonna say like this. I agree because I'm like I know female. Like first thing, the shit that's crazy to me, right? When I see like you can see it on your social media, right? You know what I mean? Every one of us, right? You know what I mean? For one of your Facebook friends, Instagram friends, whoever, right? And they're on like a trip with like 7 other women, right? And I'm looking at these 7 women ain't friends. All of them ain't friends. But they all going on a trip though. But they not friends, right? I'm like, I've seen a few times where, okay, so the trip's over. You get back from the trip. Oh, yo, you know, they was fighting. You know what I mean? For in the street. You know what I mean? Yesterday. The same girls who's on the trip with each other? Yeah. And I'm like, you would think like, oh, no, this just some hood shit. No. These are professional women. Like, professional. Got good jobs, all of that. Fighting in the street. Like, wait, hold up. I just don't, I mean, I'm going to say like this, right? If 7 dudes go on a trip, most likely those are your guys. Like, That's my peoples, and we had a good old time, right? I'm just like, man, anytime when I see more than 3 women with each other, I'm just like, somebody ain't friends in that group. It's just too many of them. If somebody ain't friends in that group, you know what I mean? Like, so I just think, you know, just by nature, I just think, you know, we'll handle conflict a little better, particularly amongst people that I guess, you know, we're so-called friends or whatever. I was just like, you know, that's what
I got one more thing before you go on, and Rika can co-sign this. And I don't think this is just a Georgetown thing, but I see it all the time. You got
how many is that? Because if it's more than 4, I question that, Rika.
Hey yo, I know chicks that I went to school with, middle school, maybe elementary school, that will tell you in 2022. I ain't like that bitch since she hollered at my man when we was in 6th grade. I'm like, wait a fucking minute here. Like 6th grade, okay, let's just go back. I think 6th grade for me probably was close to. I graduated from high school 25 years ago, so 6th grade is pushing 30. So you mean to tell me, and Rico tell you have mugs where I'm from, they still beef with chicks that might have been talking to their ex-boyfriend from when we was in the 6th and 7th grade. That shit is crazy to me. Like, wild shit. Y'all gotta be better, ladies. I can't
take that's how them chicks, like, man, chicks like, I can't take that L against her. You know what I mean? Shoot, you know, I can't take that L. Boy, but it's 6th grade. Like, that shit wild. Take that L. I'm like, goodness.
Nigga, at our age bracket, that's 30 fucking years. That's pushing 30 years.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with y'all. And this is the reason why, as far as how men handle conflict, because y'all egos get in the way of, and your pride gets in the way of trying to handle a situation, right? I've seen it so many times where dudes will be beefing with each other, and sometimes the beef may even be, you know, minuscule, may not even be a real beef, but I'm talking about like an actual conflict. Like sometimes it be your egos and your pride that will stop you from apologizing, saying something. Nah, fuck that nigga. I ain't saying shit to him. I'm cool. I'm good. That's what I see a lot of the times when it comes to men. A lot of times men cannot let that pride and that ego go to say, yo, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to say that. That's not where I was coming from. And I see that a lot when it comes with men.
Becca, I agree with that. But here, watch this, right? say if me and Stacks had some sort of beef, right? You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I stopped by Stacks' crib, right? Stop by Stacks' crib or whatever, right? I could just put a beer on the table, right? That's my way of saying, yo, man, we good. And Stacks will understand what I just did. I just put a 6-pack on his table. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you know,
but
I
you
mean,
still have to have the actual conversation.
not really.
That is avoidance. You
Not
have
really,
to
man.
actually
No,
say,
but look, watch this. Wait a minute. Watch this. I can put the 6-pack on and be like, yo, you know, Carson Wentz was looking good in practice today. You know what I'm saying? And that's the apology. I mean,
but I'm just giving y'all.
Don't tell me that never happened.
But check this out. I get what you're saying, Mark, but that can be problematic because
you gotta have a real conversation
you
about
gotta
the
have
issue.
that conversation about what you guys were beefing about and things. But I do get what you're saying. Now, there are some instances where that is very, very true, especially if it's something petty, something minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
if you've known people for a while, you know what their apology or what they're leaning to try to do when they apologize. It could be something as simple as a fucking text, and the motherfucker ain't really text you in a while that they talk about some shit that you guys are that you have common interest in and shit like that. So that's what Mark's kind of saying, because you know football season is coming up and we're gonna be ribbing on each other for the next fucking until February. That's just the way that is.
Right.
You know, so and that's kind of like I think for guys it's kind of like a olive branch type shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we all know. I think guys it's kind of like cold, like, oh, I get what the nigga trying to do. I got you.
Yeah,
it's like now what I will tell you though, it's different from. Here's what I hate. You have people that'll say some shit or do some dumb shit or offend someone, and they have the expectation that a couple of days are going by, that shit water under the bridge. I ain't about that life now. You can say I hold grudges and shit like that. Like for instance, like I mean, I got some ongoing shit with my older brother. That nigga got to change his behavior and give me a real fucking apology before I ever let that nigga, before I start acknowledging his existence again. I mean, that's
how
the
many
way I'm
years?
wired.
But that's based
how
on
many years has it been? Stacks?
What he did though. That wasn't
You're right, You're right, Mark.
You know, it wasn't like, yo, man, that nigga slammed my door 5 years ago. You know what? I still ain't talking to nigga because I ain't like the way he slammed my door. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I was like, man, that was something real y'all went through.
That's what I was just saying in regards to like how guys, you know, how their ego and their pride will kick in sometimes and they don't want to have a real conversation. But with women, one thing with women is like there is some kind of like nice, nasty, passive aggressive thing that women do, especially if you and your friend or you and someone is beefing, but y'all are part of a group. You got to kind of take an L for the group. But there are women who would just be, you know, nasty and just act like she's sitting right there and can act like she don't even exist. But I do kind of feel like something has to happen for women to actually come together and fix the issue, because there's some pride when it comes with women too. Like, I fuck that bitch. She the one that did it. I ain't gotta say shit to her. She did it to me. Why I gotta say something to her? And then everybody else that's in the room could feel the air getting thick and don't want to really say anything. So it's just like, all right, if y'all don't say anything to each other, then we cool. Because just like we was giving the example of the girls trip, if you have 5 girls, right, there may be a situation where 2 of them may not have gotten along for a particular amount of time for whatever reason, but there's a trip coming up, so everybody's still going to go. We watch, for those of us that watch reality TV, Housewives, they always going on trips with each other and they cannot stand each other.
Yeah, that's
right now. Darlo and Kenya are going back and forth at it almost every single episode. Meanwhile, they done been on all kind of trips together. Now that is a job, right? They do have to do that, but it just shows still the dynamic of women that have to be around each other, that continue to have conflict with each other, and what that looks like. It's like 2 chihuahuas just barking at each other the whole time and nobody wants to listen because they want to be the one that's right.
Yeah. Rebecca, part of the problem is, I think a lot of the problem is as far as people caring. You can be in conflict with somebody but care about them, and you don't want to say if you put shit out there, people probably view me as a hothead sometimes and somebody that's like hard to deal with. But at the same time, I don't like hurting people's feelings or disappointing people and shit like that. So sometimes you hold shit in that you really want to say, so you don't damage the relationship by hurting their feelings. And it could be opinion, it could be fact, but that opinion probably could be shared by others. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that shit will fester and just stay there because you don't want to just let it all out there because you don't. I mean, at the end of the day, that person, somebody you care about, that's a friend, and you don't really want to, hurt their feelings. And once because people go on the defensive immediately.
Right.
Most people go on the defensive immediately if you say something against them or something that they don't like. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think some people, I know I do. I take that into consideration. So sometimes it may seem like, yeah, I'm gonna just be quiet. I'm not even gonna say anything, and let people do what they do.
Yeah. So then in that situation, then how do you get over it? Because there's going to be, regardless if you're disagreeing or not, somebody's going to think that you're negative or you're trying to, ruffle feathers or whatever the case may be. So in those situations where you have to address it, right? Let's just say the example, conflict amongst family and friends, right? Mm-hmm. What is the different way that you handle a conflict with your brother that you've mentioned, right? Versus the way that you handle a conflict with a friend?
Damn, see, this is where I know I'm still fucked up because I handle it the same way. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, look, my family be on go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even me and my sister, and I love my sister to death. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. You know what I mean? I'm like Rambo with all the weapons. You know what I mean? If you got, some smoke for her. But I'm like, yo, she really be trying to cut me down when she be talking to me sometimes. Like, yo, she be coming at my neck. You know what I mean? So we'll go back and forth. And my brother, you know what I mean? Mo, I love you. You know what I mean? For real, just in case I ain't never tell you that shit. Because he be piecing so much shit out and putting out fires like you would not believe for the family, right? But I'm saying that, like, that's how the family is, right? So it's like, I try to watch myself, but then sometimes, man, when you in a groove, you just, look, I'm going to just say this shit. I don't care what he think. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, so I would say like this. I think it's different when you get new friends, right? You know what I'm saying? And your new friends might not like your old friends know you forever and a day. So they know how you are. They know, you know what I'm saying, what lines they can kind of cross and all of that. But your new friends really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like how you are when you actually get upset about something. It's just like, damn, I didn't know he was like that. You know what I'm saying? So it could be like somebody that you might have met on a job, but they cool as shit. This is the person, you went to lunch with and looked at chicks with, on lunch break and, washy, maybe, whatever. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yo, but, that person, like, if you go on go, and it's like, damn, he wild. Like, what? You know what I mean? Coming at me like that, like, that might throw them off. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to kind of navigate your way around.
I like that comment.
You know what I mean? For real, people like that. You know what I'm saying? With your new friends. Because here's the thing. People always keep saying, man, my day ones, that's it. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's how you treat people, how people treat you. You know what I mean? If people come into your life and they might have just entered your life, but they 100 all day, like, damn, this motherfucker 10 toes down for real, that's going to be your people. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but you still have to be able to adapt to them and they adapt to you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you already saying like, yo, they 100. So, you know what I mean? For this somebody I'm good with. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes it's like you got to kind of have to learn how to navigate, how to deal, with your new friends and your new brothers coming in. Sometimes that's not the easiest thing.
For me, like when you say navigate with new friends and like for me, I don't use the term friendship lightly. So some of my friends are so close to me, they're like family. So I kind of put them in the same box in regards to conflict. I'm thankful that I haven't had a lot of situations in my life where I had to go back and forth with somebody. I'm thankful for that. But when conflict from even though I am a vocal person and I do, I am able to address something that is happening. I'm not confrontational. I don't like confrontation. I don't like arguing. I don't like going back and forth. I take a lot of L's in situations, not wanting to go back and forth. I'd
Becca,
rather
that's surprising to hear, based on who your
I
family is and
actually hear
based
that.
on
right,
where you're from.
right,
I'm just saying that's surprising to hear to
right.
me. You know.
But Mark, in contrast to that, when it is time for me to bring it to their neck, I most certainly can and will. But that is not my first go-to. I like to be
Gotcha.
diplomatic. I like to be,
This is
I
true.
like to
You
kind
the
of
kumbaya person.
Yeah.
I try very much to be kumbaya. But if I
Maybe
have
I'll
to
get there one
if
day.
I have to be, is it Oochie Wally or is it one mic? If I have to be, the Annie Up remix, I will.
But
Yeah.
Right?
but
If I
see, yeah.
need to be the Annie Up remix, I will. But
See,
I don't like being that way because I don't
right.
like how that makes me feel. I like to be diplomatic in a lot of situations, and I try to, because I am not the average female where I'm emotional, I'm more logical. That's where it kicks in, the conflict. But there are times, like if I have conflict within family, I am like the difference between Mississippi and Keyshawn. Like Mississippi is in the club on the stripper pole doing it up. Keyshawn at home is fragile and weak. When I have conflict with my family, I feel it to the core. And I'm thankful that I haven't had those situations where I had to really beef with a family member. But when those times do come, my only way of showing emotion is by crying. When I'm upset, when I'm pissed off or whatever, I cry. So a lot of times I could be so
Now
upset.
is it sad or angry? You know what I mean?
It could, right. People don't know because once I'm
Okay.
crying, they know, because I'm not usually like that. Once I am crying, they know something's wrong with Rebecca. Like something
Gotcha.
really is wrong with her because
Okay. I have a cousin
try
like
to
that.
I try to
Yeah.
be, so amicable in a lot of situations that when I've reached my point, the only response you get out of me is tears. So when I'm pissed off, I'm crying. When I'm
See.
sad, I'm crying. And then afterwards, because I am a Libra, afterwards I'm sad that I even had to do that. Like if I had to spaz with somebody and or sorry, get angry or really angry or irate with somebody, I in the moment I'm committed. I'm
Oh,
irate. That's just what you're gonna get. But then afterwards, I'm sad and upset and frustrated that I even had to get there.
Hey, you
I
know
want
what
to talk.
though? That kind of reminds me. You know what I'm saying? If you ever, you know what I mean, around Christmas time, you ever watch that movie, A Christmas Story? They show it every year, right? You know
Yes,
what I mean? When he
love
beat
that
up the
movie.
bully or whatever, right? He was
Yeah,
so mad. You know what I mean? He was whooping his ass, right? But then
yeah,
after the fight over, he just started crying. Like, I get
yeah.
it. I get it. He had to let that emotion out. I get
Because
it.
and that's a trigger. Before you, I'm gonna let you say something, Stacks. But before my father passed away, it never dawned to me, which is weird because there's been people that have passed away before my father, but because I was so tightly connected to my dad, such a daddy's girl, my father's death meant it activated so many different things and thought processes for me, and it made me realize that life is short. It's so
Yeah.
weird that of the other deaths in my life that have happened also makes you know that. But for my father's death, it was etched in stone. Like life is really short. My father was healthy, a healthy man on retirement, traveling the world with my mom. And then one day his neck was hurting him, and he was not the type to not go to the doctor. Went to the doctor, a crook in his neck turned into stage 4 cancer. He was gone in 11 months.
Yeah,
So that's when I
that's
started
how it
to
works.
realize life is short. Enjoy the time that you have now, which is the reason why I try not to have a lot of conflict with people, because you just never know, especially like my friends who have become family, especially with them in my actual blood related family. I try not to have those conflicts because you never know. And I don't want the last moments of your life for me to be thinking, damn, I really fucking hated your ass. these whole last times that you were alive, because I would want to know that when my time comes, that somebody is not that my death isn't a relief to somebody because they hated my ass and now I'm finally dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will hope that wouldn't happen. So conflict is a really tricky thing. And Ingrid's comment is so true. I'm going to read it. I think the way people react to conflict changes with age. I am not going to react, but I heard you and I'll process it. If it's weighing on my spirit, then I'll say something. If I don't, if I don't really care. And I agree. I'm the same. I agree with that, Ingrid. If it bothers me enough, I will say something. But most of the time, because I have conditioned myself to take a lot of L's and be so diplomatic, that sometimes, although it may not seem like it, I don't speak up when I should.
Hey,
So
Ingrid,
even
that
though
was deep. I
I'm
gotta
hardcore
grow up. I
BA,
haven't grown up yet.
Hey, real quick,
Sorry.
Ingrid comment and this comment that Sharika just made as far as choosing peace. It would be very easy for me to call my older brother and say, "Look, man, I forgive you and all that good shit, man. We good." Yeah, I ain't doing that. It's simply because
It's a lot.
I,
It's a lot that went on.
well, not only that, Mark. It's I don't like enabling. I don't like enabling bad behavior. I have no issue piecing it
yeah.
up with somebody when I see change behavior and shit like that, because I've been on the other end, not treating anybody fucked up, but I've self reflected and I've said, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have come at that individual like that. Let me apologize and let me not do that no more. It's too easy to change behavior, but more often than not, some people will try to weasel their way back into your life by using like other family members' death and things of that nature.
What
I'm
did I
not
say
wired.
Monday? You cannot negotiate your way into my life. That is totally up
Right,
to
right. And I'm simply not built to give people passes in those type instances. Once you've wronged me to the point where, and when you get to the point where you can't even apologize or can't even acknowledge that you wronged me, and you're expecting for me to just get over it off the strength that we share the same blood, that I ain't built like that. No, it's just not going to happen, and I'm perfectly fine. And I've told this individual this because people always use that, man. No man, no the hour. Yeah, I mean, you're right. And the thing is, I'm willing. And I've said, if I close my eyes permanently tonight, I am all good with how I left it in at that situation, because I was the person that was wrong in that instance. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
I think that's perfectly fine. And it's I don't like conflict either, but I don't like giving people that grace when they've been given it their whole life and they haven't done anything with it to improve their situation or change their behavior and quit shitting on people. So I mean, yeah, that's just how I rock.
Everybody has a breaking point, and at some point grace does run out, right? So you can give people grace over and over and over again, and they don't use it, so they still end up offending you, or sometimes just making situation worse, making the matter worse. And there are times that I would bring it to a person, right? But or even if the person has brought it to me, like there's been times when me and my mother have not agreed, right? We have not gotten along. And I can't just speak to my mother any kind of way, right? So there'll be a lot of times I'll just let some shit rock because I can't. And for me, it's like that is the last parent I have, my only living parent, and I don't want that with my mom. So there's a lot of times I would just eat it. I'll just say, okay, mom, whatever. And then there's some times where, as I've gotten older, that I would say, no, mom, you're wrong. No, mom, that's not right. No, mom, you can't say that. And not being able to receive that, it becomes a conflict. So in the moment, you would think that I'm ready to go crazy on my mom, but I just stay silent. It's just one of those times where I wish I could just speak up and be like, no, mom, like, no, but I just can't. And then afterwards, I would be crying because I wish I would have said something, but that's my mom. I can't say that to my mom. I can't, even at 42, almost 42, there are still times where I just can't do it.
Hey,
And as I get older, I'm like, no, I should be able to have these conversations. I should be able to say this to my mom. I'm too old to be having to use colorful words or get creative in how I explain things, so she doesn't feel offended at 65. So, it's a lot to go through. And even in our big age, you still have to kind of navigate conflict with an elder relative, right?
Yeah.
If me and Stacks was to disagree on something, we could say to each other exactly how we're feeling, and we'll get it, and there won't be no offenses. But I won't be able to say that. I wouldn't be able to do that same thing with my sister or with my mom. It's very different. The Brooklyn Becca that y'all see, that's all rah rah. I am not like that when it comes to my mom, because I can't. That's my mom.
hey, listen.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
at least you have at least you have an understanding. With my mom, I just don't want to get hit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Just don't hit me, all right? You know what I mean? Shit, you know.
I do truly believe your mom will beat your ass, Mark.
Yeah, man,
I truly believe it.
I'm like, now my mom don't throws things like she used to, but I'm just saying, look, my mom really could have played Major League Baseball as a pitcher. Like, I'm not even lying, because the accuracy was just that good. But I'm just like, even with my mom now, right? It's just like, I can talk to her, you know what I mean? But once, she just be like, yo, she really started coming at me. The only response I got from my mom, yo, you wild. You know what I mean? That's it. I can't really say what I want to say, like, yo, you wild.
Oh, you bugging.
Yeah, you wild. That's all I got.
Ma, you crazy.
You know what's funny though, Mark? When I was young, I used to see my grandmother snuff out the adults in our family that were like our age now. I thought it was funny back then, and then I was thinking as I grew older, I'm like, shit, she gonna do that same shit to me if I step out of line when I get that age. Like, I'm thinking once I get like 18, I'm like, I'm done. I'm grown now, but I had to think back to all the 40-year-old that she snuffed out, like right in front of us in our family, and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna be dealing with this for the rest of my life, or the rest of her life at least.
You know what? But I'm glad you bring that up, Stack. See, I think y'all mean when my mom, for really try to beat my teacher's ass, I think, that stuck with me. That will stick with me forever. Like that moment in time, you know what I mean? Because my dad wasn't there. Trust me, that teacher would have got beat, like really beat. Like my dad really was holding her back.
Do you want to talk about it? This is a safe space. You want to talk about how your mother gives you PTSD?
She do, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, between my mom and Philly, it's enough. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, you would have think I went to war. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, but seriously though, I mean, just some things just kind of stick. But I'm like, but really, getting back to your point though, I was just like, I'm just starting to learn how to deal with conflict a little bit better. And peace for me is hard. It's so hard to do peace for me. It's super hard. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, man, because if a person right there, like, yo, man, I should sock bull right now. Like, and it don't even matter who it is. Could be my brother. Like, yo, man, I should punch bull in his face. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that, where I come,
we do not condone violence here at the Guys Podcast.
Like, yo, but like when what you call it, like I'm serious, right? When Beanie Siegel was talking about when he had a problem with Jay-Z, right? And he just like, man, we had a problem, man. But I'm just saying where I'm from, man. Yo, man, we just need 5 minutes in the yard. That's all, that's all we need. 5 minutes in the yard, just square that thing away. And I felt them on that. You know what I'm saying? Now, Beans, you ain't getting no 5 minutes in no yard with no Jay-Z. You know what I mean? For real, trust me, it'd be 50 guys on your ass before that even happened. But, you know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. But but I felt him when he said, yo, I just need 5 minutes in the yard. You know what I mean? For with my bro. Like that, because that's how I feel. Like, like seriously, like, like if I had any type of conflict with anybody, but they're all right there, yeah, I mean, not that I'm a swing on them, but it's certainly in my mind, like, yo, man, I really should swing on this ball right now, right? and then we piece it up after that. But it really would be on my mind. So I'm gonna say like this: achieving peace, it's not easy for me, because it's never really been like that, So it's new for me, but I really try hard to do it though, because I'm just like the youngest coming up after me. They can't do what I did previously. They got to do it a better way because these young boys go too far with it. So I'm just like, I can't teach them that.
They
You know what I'm
definitely
saying?
don't know how to deal with conflict.
Yeah,
All the
so
conflict they deal with
the
is
thing
And
is,
I'm mindful
you
of
got to
that.
know how to deal with conflict so they know how to deal with it.
Right. And
So
I'm
you got
mindful
to
of
deal
that
with it
with
better.
my child, with Jasmine, who just turned 12. I'm mindful of that. So I try to teach her. There's one particular kid that she's been going to school with for years that always been bothering her and bullying her. And I've tried to tell her ways to deal with him because he's just, a bully. He picks on her. And it's been the same boy's name that I've heard for at least the past 4 or 5 years.
Becca, did you give her the talk though? Like, yo, if you get in your space though,
Yeah,
you got
well,
to do
yes,
something.
I've told
Okay.
her that
All right.
already.
Long as we had that talk, we good.
Yeah, I've given her the tools to try and navigate because the kids, these new kids are mean, right? These new kids, they are mean and very disrespectful. These new kids they just like send a flood, Lord, start over, like send a new batch of kids. These batch of kids that's out right now, these are the kids that I will fight. I'm not normally a kid fighter. But now I have become a kid. I will fight these kids because some of these kids are bigger than me. I'm 5'10", and there was a boy at Jasmine's camp that was taller and bigger than me. He's 13. I will beat that nigga ass anyway.
God damn.
Just punch. Listen, all
I
these
have
kids punch him in the stomach. They never had a good stomach punch. That's one thing about these kids.
That's where I can reach because
Give them a
these
punch
kids
in the
are
stomach.
giants.
You know what I mean? Ooh. They
But
they dropping like a sack of potatoes. Trust me.
You're tall.
I've hit a kid.
You're kind of a tall female, little Beckham. You're tall.
I am a tall female. That's why you see Jasmine is up to here to me, and she's only 12. But anyway,
be tall too.
So I try to teach Jasmine conflict resolution and things like that, so that when she gets older, she doesn't become an adult that doesn't know how to handle it. And when in those situations, usually the first way to handle it is anger and violence. And I don't want her to just be no offense, Mark. I don't want her to be your mom age and be fighting people. You know what I'm saying? I don't want her to be ducking nobody out at 70. You know what I'm saying?
Beating up teachers and shit.
Beating up teachers, right? You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted I want to teach her those things as a child, so that way she can learn those lessons now, which is something that we were never actually taught. We were never taught conflict resolution, and sometimes even as adults, like you mentioned, Mark, it's hard to try and get that. So it's really difficult to try and navigate the difference of how I handle family and friends, because my friends, I would just kind of be able to say it, even though I would say it jokingly. I wouldn't directly say it, which is so crazy because I am a direct person. I usually don't speak in code. I don't beat around the bush. I say exactly what I need to say. But when it comes to conflict, I retreat a little bit and I'm like, wait, what do I say? How do I say it? Because I don't like arguing with people. And I don't like putting people in situations where they got to come at me, because then I get into defense mode. And then that's when I become the Annie Up remix and I'm Remy Ma's person. Fire. You know what I'm saying? Stacks, what you got on this?
What I got on what?
Like how do you feel about dealing with your friends conflict versus because you mentioned your brother and you just decided that's it on that. What about with your friends? Do you ever take that same stance?
No, because I think sadly enough that most of my friend shit is more salvageable than shit with me and my brother. But I think it takes the same stances in a sense, whereas I'm very cognizant about other people's feelings, and I feel sometimes it's best to not say anything. than the settle the conflict. And I know that's problematic because that's not settling shit. But at the same time, I'm very cognizant, because you don't want it to get where it's way left, and you say something and it be a tit for tat situation, and then next thing you know, you're way off base. You're not even talking about what the root of the problem is. You're just opening up some deep seated issues that you guys have with each other that you probably never discussed before. So I don't know. I know I still have some things to work on as far as with friends, because like you said, ego and pride are real things, especially when you're talking about men. So yeah, that's some shit that I'm still a work in progress when it comes to shit like that, because I am cognizant. I would say I am cognizant of other people's feelings, even when that shit is not reciprocated. If that makes sense.
Right. So you mentioned about like your different methods. So these are the three that I've seen happening right now, especially in entertainment news. Bringing it to their neck, being petty, or ignoring them. So for instance, example of bringing it to their neck, West Side Gun and Funk Flex. Right? Mark, you
that's the flex first and foremost. Go ahead, Cuzzo.
Right. You were the one that kind of informed me about this method of conflict resolution. Mm-hmm. Explain to the people about the West Side Gun, / Griselda and Funk Flex beef about bringing it to their neck.
It really started when, Funk Flex, it's been known for years, right? Allegedly that, you got to pay him to play your records, right? No matter what artist you are, whatever. You pay, he play, right? And he has kind of like a monopoly, with the New York music scene, right? Now, if you understand Griselda, those guys are from Buffalo, New York, so they're not from New York City. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, and I wish Sean was here because he would really explain this. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's no disrespect to Buffalo, but it's just like, it's almost like it's like a hip hop afterthought, right? Even no matter how good the guys are, and Funk Flex being from New York and have been in his position for years, just kind of probably looks down on those guys. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo, you don't have the authority to question me and what I do. Because
you're not a real New Yorker if you're not from the five.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know what I mean? But but Flex takes shit too far. You know what I mean? He always does. So, and I think Conway wasn't really talking to him crazy at first. It was just like, yo, we got some dope shit going on. You could play other artists than what you're playing. Then Flex, of course, gets disrespectful. Yo, man. I mean, you on Jake, you sign with Rock Nation, you this and that. If you can't get hot, I mean, that's on you. I mean, if ain't nobody playing your records, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the disrespect came in, because that's Funk Flex and that's who he's always been, and we all know that. You know what I'm saying? So West Side Gun, I mean, for that's that, Conway and him are like brothers. You know what I mean? So of course he gonna take up for him and just like, yo, basically. Yo, if I see you, man, you know what I'm saying? Yo, it's on. Like, but that's how all of that stuff goes, because my thing is, instead of just confronting Conway and just being like, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could have really just been like, look, Conway, like right now, you don't have a song that's out right now, you know what I mean, for that, like, yo, the people really want to hear, you know what I mean? You get that type of record, you know what I mean? Send it to me, I will gladly play it. That was the easiest way to handle that, but instead he wants to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And then like, so even if somebody's talking to you in a manner where it's like you might not agree with them, right? It doesn't give you the right to be disrespectful with them, because you know what I'm saying? They didn't agree with you or you didn't agree with them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened in that situation. So now it's like, is going to go left, because I'm like, if these Griselda guys, I'm like, they didn't jump on guys before. Like, this really happened. You know what I mean? Ask, you know what I mean, Freddie Gibbs, or, you know what I mean, AKA Cousin Buddy on Power Book 5. Power Book 4 Tommy series. Cousin Buddy got roughed up, you know what I mean?
Right.
In Buffalo not that long ago, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, but why would you put that in? If you put disrespectful energy out there, is that same disrespect is going to come back to you, and I think to me, I'm like I said, it's a lesson that I'm still learning now, but I'm trying to be better with it. But this is a lesson Funk Flex refuses to learn, because I think he's just going to be a disrespectful guy all the way until the grave. That's just who he is and who he's always been.
Well,
so another method, Stacks, about conflict resolution. One of the ways that I've seen it being done is by being petty. Are you aware of the Kanye and Pete the Meat situation? Can you speak to this particular method of conflict resolution of being petty?
Kanye is just a petty dude. I guess when the news came out of Split, did he post something on Instagram or Twitter that said Skeet Davidson dead at 28? I'm like, yo, man, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that shit, I thought it was funny, but I was thinking to myself, like, Kanye is literally if I'm not mistaken, Kanye is the most wealthy rapper. Even he got more money than Jay-Z and all that shit. I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, you got too much money to be this fucking petty, dude. Like really, dude? I ain't gonna lie, that shit was funny as shit, though.
Did you zoom into the bottom of it? It said Frank Ocean may perform at funeral but afraid of water bottles. Did you see that on the bottom of it?
See, Mark, that's that bullshit right there. Kanye out of control. But you know what, though, man? Who's gonna tell Kanye anything? At the end of the day, man, I can say Kanye petty and all that shit. Who's gonna tell Kanye anything? And who is Kanye gonna listen to? So
nobody.
Kanye, matter of fact, when you tell Kanye, yo, that was kind of fucked up, y'all know Kanye the type that'll double down. He'll be like, oh, that was fucked up? Good. He'll go back and post some more shit. That's just who Kanye is, man.
Man, I mean, and that's true, but here's the thing, right? When you engage with Kanye, you kind of make it worse because, you know what I'm saying? Like, now, Pete, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just, when the backlash first happened, instead of just kind of like ignoring it, right? You know what I'm saying? He didn't. He engaged in the petty with Kanye. This is not a war you're going to win. You know what I'm saying? So, he posted pictures like he's in bed with Kim and, he out with the kids and all of that stuff. I'm like, dude, seriously. I'm just like, yo, if this situation with Kim ends, and I think we all predicted that it would, you know what I'm saying? You going to be the one, that's going to be looking crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what ended up happening, because now he's in like some type of rehab for mental issues or whatever. So not only did the breakup cause mental issues, but, Kanye, trolling you to death. And Kanye has crazy fans. All Kanye fans are crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, they had Kanye fans. And here's the thing is, right? If you ever seen like any of them zombie movies, that, these are Kanye fans. Like, they just keep coming in droves, right? So when they ran up,
you saying Kanye fans are worse than LeBron fans?
Yeah, much worse. Because the thing is, though, they rolled up on DL Hughley. DL Hughley is like a guy from Compton. He rolls with hood guys. I've seen him in concert. He got hood guys with him, right? But Kanye fans don't care. They like The Walking Dead. Like, yo, man, why you talk about Kanye like that? So I'm like, yo, DL's guys, even if they knock 10 of them out, it's 100 more, you know what I'm saying, that you're going to have to knock out. You know what I'm saying? You can't get to all of them, you know what I'm saying? They just going to be walking like The Walking Dead. They going to keep doing that shit. So I'm just like, man, to me, it's best, you know what I'm saying, especially if you're not really ready. Like, DL's really ready for war like that. Yeah. But Pete, you're not. You know what I'm saying? And if you weren't, you should have just left it alone and let Kanye move on to something new, because he's always going to blow up at something. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yo, if he's on you this week, he's going to be on something next week. You know what I'm saying? He was mad at Adidas for releasing some shoes that he didn't want released. So, it's always something that's going to get Kanye's attention, that's going to make him mad. So it's like, yo, if it's your turn, you know what I'm saying, for her to come under fire, just take that L, you know what I'm saying, and move on. And now Pete's looking crazy in rehab. That's bad.
Well, another way of handling conflict, which I think it's funny. Another way of handling conflict is just ignore the person, like Beyonce and Khalees. Like Beyonce said, okay, you got so many issues about this particular song. Great. You talking all that ish, I'm going to remove you and act like you never existed. So, okay, you don't want the credit? Fine, I'll delete the credit. You don't want that
check.
particular beat or that particular sample on the song? Great, I'll remove it. Never addressed it at all. Never tweeted about, shout out to Khalees for whatever. Now Beyonce has definitely shouted out
sheer perfection. I loved it.
She straight ignored. There was not even Pharrell. And Khalees went on a whole rant for like 3 minutes on Beyonce and Pharrell about this whole particular issue. Beyonce never responded. Pharrell has been mute. They just totally ignored her ass. Not one response whatsoever. So the way that you deal with that particular conflict is, okay, great. You talking all that shit, I'm just gonna ignore your ass and delete you, act like you never existed.
Yeah, and no check. And no check. So the check you was going to get, you ain't going to get it.
Remix the song. I'm going to remix a song and put another sample almost like yours on that particular song. So that's another way that you can kind of handle conflict resolution. It's just ignore the person. Maybe because there are some times where y'all don't have a problem. The person just has a problem with you.
Yep.
And if that is the case, then great. You have a problem with me? Fine. I'll just ignore everything that you have a problem with, so that way you don't have any particular issues with nothing now. Damn. How about that? Now you can shut the hell up because you ain't got nothing to complain about. Now you can mess it up for yourself.
I'm trying to tell you, listen, I just went through that this year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, just they taking shots and like, all right, I did the petty role, but then it's just like after a while, it's just like, all right, I'm just going to ignore them. And I did it, and I'm like, yeah, that side actually works. I didn't know that would work for me, but it did. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this is all right. This ignore thing is all right. I mean, the being petty thing I've been doing for years, but the ignore thing, you know what I'm saying? The ignore thing actually works. I didn't think that it really would work, but it actually works because it seems like when you ignore somebody, right? Sometimes people get even madder that you're not saying nothing to them. Like you ain't saying nothing, man. And you this and you that, and you just I don't even hear nobody. That makes people like really upset. I didn't know that.
And you know what, Mark? You even see in those subtle things when they know they done fucked up and they lost a little bit of access. You see some of these people doing some things to try to like ingratiate themselves towards you.
Right.
I don't be paying that shit no attention, man. I see that, yeah. I see that, yeah. I acknowledge and just keep it fucking moving because change behavior. You ain't about to slide. Yeah, I'm not about to fall for the fucking banana in the tailpipe.
Right.
Is that the method that you're doing with your brother, ignoring?
Huh?
Is that the method that you're using with your brothers to ignore?
No, not really. I'm simply not even acknowledging his existence. It's like
that's ignore.
That's past ignore. That was
past that. Hey, Mark, you ever been in a club where you saw like the baddest chick walk in and cats is trying to get at her and like she's like not even. It's like she's floating through the club and not even noticing that people try to holler at her. That type shit.
Yeah, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. That ignore thing works.
Hopefully we've given a little bit of insight, and those listening and watching have kind of thought about some of the ways that they handle conflict and the best ways to do it. Maybe you want to bring it to their neck. Maybe you want to say, listen, this is what you did. I'm not asking for you to apologize, but we're through. We're done. Boom, bam, pow. Or you could be petty. You could be a Kanye and put up somebody's obituary and they still alive. Talking about dead at 28 and Kid Cudi
Kanye is so fucking petty, man.
He's scared of bottle throwers. Like, that's petty as hell. You know who else is petty? 50 Cent. But yeah, that's just that.
Yeah.
Or you could just totally ignore the person and say, I'm not even going to give you the attention that you're looking for, because all you really want with this beef is attention. And
right.
I'm not going to give you that attention. Why, Stacks? Because you can't negotiate your existence in my life. That is 100%.
You fucking can't.
Yeah.
You make on that part.
And you know what that just happened? Yeah, I mean, that would be Ashanti and her response to Irv Gotti. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? She ain't even go low. She just like, whatever. You know what I mean? For real, you know.
That nigga's a fucking fraud. He's a lame-o for that shit.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? For real. Hey, Nelly, you want to spin the block? I'm right here. You know, that's all. We out.
So we'll give our parting thoughts. Who wants to go first? Mark or Stacks? What you got?
I'll go first. Check this out. I've had fun. I'm a little tipsy right now.
I can tell your eyes are red.
I feel great. You know, this has been a fun pod, man. I'm glad I got to kick it with y'all tonight. I think I sometimes say to myself, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna make it to where it's water under the bridge, and then I just come back to reality like, nah, fuck that. I'm not about to give a motherfucker no out. I need motherfuckers. And the thing is, I don't want motherfuckers to kiss my ass or nothing like that. But just if you wrong me, just recognize that you wrong me. Like when Mark came on the show tonight, like I don't think you wrong me, but I'm just saying, like, Mark, you got a whole lot of people that done some serious shit, and they're not going to make it. They're not going to be contrite or make an apology and shit like that. And I'm pretty sure everybody has someone that's done shit to them, and they still wait on an apology for that shit. But that's just, you just got to be cognizant of that shit, and you got to kind of place them where they at to protect your peace, because if you think about that shit all the fucking time, thinking about I'm waiting on this apology, and that's not where I'm at with my older brother. I'm not waiting for him to apologize because I don't see it happening. It would be welcome if it did happen, but change behavior is one of the best apologies. You just can't say I'm sorry, or or just say my bad and some shit like that. So I mean that's the message that I'm sending. If you and that's the way I operate. If I genuinely wrong somebody, I'm gonna come to them directly and say, you know what, I'm sorry for what I did. You know, I came at you sideways. Mm-hmm. That was wrong of me, and I apologize. I can only hope that that fixes things. And if it doesn't with them, I gotta accept that because I'm the one who wronged them.
Damn, what you got, Mark?
I'll say like this, right? I speaking from experience, everything is not an act of war. So you cannot treat it like that, right? You cannot treat it like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to be the Avengers today and he Thanos. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You cannot carry it like that all the time. Like, now, I mean, when it really has to come to that, then it has to come to that. But it can't just be every single conflict that you have, and this is how you view it. Because I'm just like, man, like it'll have you really looking crazy, like if you dealt with every situation like that. So you have to assess the situation and be like, okay, let me see, where I might have went wrong here. Right now, if you feel like, yo, I did what I need to do, you know what I'm saying? I gave them chances, to fix their shit. They didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's different. But when it's just like, yo, it could be the first, for real, dust up or something minor, and then you change it into something that's way more bigger than what it was. You know what I'm saying? You gotta own up to that and be like, man, what I'm saying? That might not have been the right thing to do, right? That's number one. Number two, fellas, usually when we're feeling some type of way, we don't really reach out and talk to anybody, you know what I'm saying? And we'll internalize more, right? But if you know some guys, some brothers who are solid, you reach out to one of them guys, you know what I'm saying? And reach out to somebody who is going to be objective and they're gonna call you on your shit when they object. You know what I'm saying? Don't reach
Right.
out to somebody who's gonna agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're gonna have you back in that same space that you were at. So you want to reach out to somebody who's objective, and then you reach out to somebody like that, they'll point out where they think, yeah, I mean, for where you were right in what you were saying, but they'll also point out where it's like, yo, you took it a little too far by doing this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? My dad always used to say, sometimes you could start out right and then end up being wrong. You know what I'm saying? So initially you could be, you could feel exactly how you're supposed to feel. But the way you carried it, you went too far. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm trying to change that now. Like, and it's not easy based on, what I've seen in my life because I mean, it's only two people I've ever went to about any conflict, you know what I mean? That's my dad and my brother. So everybody else, I never came to them with that. I did more internalizing. And, I have my mom's personality, so she's on go. And so am I. So, but I'm trying to change that a little bit where it's like, you know what? I was like, it's other ways to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? And if you recognize those other ways, maybe you could deal with things a little bit better. Now, sometimes things have to be on go, but
Yeah.
not all the time. And if you recognize that it don't have to be all the time, I think you put yourself in a better place. You put yourself in a place where you can achieve peace a little more easy. You know what I'm
I like
saying?
that.
At
I
the end
like
of the
that.
day, I would think even a person who loved the Yami Brew really think he loved to go to war, really wants peace. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I appreciate peace because you're calm. You know what I mean? For real, you're calm, you're relaxed, and I think you're a little more happy when you are at peace.
And you know what? Now that you said that, that was actually going to be my final thoughts. There was a comment that Rika put that I'm going to put up, but I'm going to end everything with: my peace is more important than appeasing your conscience. And I think for me, when it comes to conflict, I really would like to have some type of amicable peace when it comes to that. So there may be times I'll take an L, or I'll just say okay, or even apologize for how the person felt, whether I did something wrong or not, because I really don't want to go back and forth with people. I'd rather just, take that L and just leave it there, because if it really don't matter to me, I'm not going to waste any energy going back and forth with you about it. So hopefully, those listening and watching, we thank you so much for spending your Wednesday night with us. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. So thank you, stay so
And I
much,
appreciate that.
and we appreciate that. All those listening on Apple, Spotify, we love you and we thank you so much. You can check us out at Twitter, The Guys Podcast too. Follow us on Instagram, The Guys Pod. We do have our own network, you guys.
On network.
Strength.com, channel 6, is our own personal network. So you can find all things concerning the Guys Network. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Merv. We miss Merv tonight. We'll see you again next Wednesday. Shout out to Tina B, Rika, Sam, Trey. Thank you so much for commenting as much as y'all do. We love you. Until next time, you can catch us here, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Blackjack TV. Thank you so much. Mount High Radio, all those listening and watching, we appreciate you so
Street
much.
Team General Tyson.
Tyson, yes, thank you so much.
Is it Tyson or Tyson? Because I heard y'all say Tyson a
I
whole
call
lot.
it Tayson.
Tyson. We will be back Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week to give you all things the Guys, entertainment,
certainly
news,
will.
sports, music. We are here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch y'all next time. Bye.
Peace. Water.
Peace.
Like Nori said.